Hi guys, we'll give a couple of minutes and then we will get cracking into our bean toss activity. Hope we're all well. We'll give it 1 minute just to give those a little chance to log on and get ourselves ready. Hope you all enjoyed our snowman activity this morning. I'm all excited for the bean toss activity now. Hopefully we've got all the stuff we need, your paints, colouring pencils, a cardboard box, which is going to be the most important part for this activity today. This is going to make the shell for your target. Right. Let's just pause the music. Amazing. Right. Okay. In today's activity then, guys, I'm going to bring you forward just a tad, just so we can see nice and clearly. So hopefully you all enjoyed yourselves earlier. It's been great to see a couple of your snowman pictures as well. It's been amazing. Make sure you send all of your pictures. Let us know how you're getting on hashtag SuperCamps Live and at official SuperCamps as well. Just let us know how you're getting on and that you're enjoying the sessions as well. So today you're going to have an opportunity to make our bean toss or take part in our bean toss activity. And this is what your final product is going to look like. Your final piece of work is going to look like. And then you will have the opportunity to test your hand-eye coordination to see how many times you can get your bean bags, or for me, your rolled up socks as well, into your target. So we're going to go through it step by step. Hopefully you've got all of the different pieces of equipment that you need to be able to make your target or your shell of for your bean bag toss activity. So let's get cracking. Now, if you haven't got a large box, that's fine. Okay, I've just done an example with a really thin box as well. As long as you've got something that's able to create a bit of a platform or something that's going to raise up a little bit so your bean bags can go in, then that's absolutely fine. So that's just an example. It doesn't have to be a massive box. We have been quite fortunate with our dinners this week as well to be delivered in quite a big chunky box. So what you're going to start with is obviously you've got your large box. If you're walking around with a pair of scissors, guys, just make sure you're being nice and safe with those, holding them nice and safe like this. And if you are doing any cutting with a sharp pair of scissors, make sure you are asking for an adult's help as well. So the first thing you want to do is just have the shell of the box. So these flaps, what I would suggest doing is just cutting those off. So we're going to go through it, and hopefully you're doing that at the same time as me as well. And again, asking for that help if you need it. This activity, once you've finished it, should give you loads of opportunity to challenge any brothers, sisters, mums, dads, anyone you've got, to a nice competition to see how many bean bags or rolled up socks or any type of material you can get in. So cutting off all of these excess bits, these flaps that you've got on your cardboard boxes. Again, making sure you're being nice and safe. And if you are doing any cutting, making sure your fingers are really visible and away from where you're doing all of that cutting. Okay, so you can see I've started to cut off the excess parts, just to make sure that I'm left with the shell of my box. And that's the part where the bean bags are going to go in. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm almost there with this last one. Again, you can see my fingers are nice and far away. It doesn't matter if it's a clean cut. Okay, it's just giving you that shell. I'm going to leave that final one on there just to give it a little bit more grip when it's turned up this way, okay? And you can see, if I just show you the other box, and I'll keep that up here so you can see it the whole time as well, you can see it's just, all we're going to do now is just chop that box in half, okay? And that's going to give us that shell for that box, or for our beanbag toss. Okay, so again, you're going to cut it lengthways, almost like diagonally down here, because then it will rest on its side and give you a bit of a platform. Okay, so to give yourselves a nice idea of where you're going to do that, again, just corner down here, straight across to the side. So I'm going to start cutting across there as well. And again, if you need that help from that adult, make sure you're asking as well. Okay, it doesn't have to be an exact neat line. It will be a bit tough as well, especially if it's a nice solid cardboard box. You might find it's going to work a little bit, trying to push through that cardboard as well. So well done. I'm just going to go all the way to the other side. All the way to the other way. And make sure any bits of cardboard you have left over, guys, you'll find really useful. You can see now I've done it in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop the part now that's closest to the bottom, okay? Because that's going to give us that rest. Just going to chop that right across there. Amazing. Any bits of cardboard you do have left over, keep them, because you might be able to use some of them for some of our activities later on in the week. And if you're not going to keep them, make sure you are recycling them as well. Okay, same thing, straight across down the side there. And again, if you are on camp as well, then make sure obviously you're asking instructors to help you. So again, I'm just chopping that in half. Again, you will find it's going to have to work to really push through that cardboard all the way to the other side. There we go. All the way. And you'll be left now. We've got to chop that last part off again. It's nice and in half now. Just turn it this way round. So chop it along here. There we go. All the way. And again, I'm going to keep that later on. So I'm challenging Amy later on in the week to our parachute challenge. So I'll be needing that to give myself the best opportunity in that challenge. So you'll have this kind of option here, okay? Should now ledge, so I'm just going to chop this last part off here. Again, I want to make sure I'm just left and being nice and safe, so I'm just going to lay that into the best position to make sure that I'm able to chop that nice and safely. Make sure my fingers are away from where I'm chopping as well. So you can see I'm just chopping that last part off. Just chopping off the sellotape part. Okay. Almost there. Final part. Amazing. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to put my scissors down nice and safely. Nice safe place. And you can see now what I'm left with is that final part. And you can notice I've got a piece of sellotape coming down there. Okay, that is absolutely fine if you have got that, but just bear in mind when you are chopping that hole for that that target that you might need to do a little bit of re-sellotape in there. Okay, so what you're now going to do is you're going to create. You're now going to have to paint it. Okay, because when you come to make that the whole part, okay, you can either choose to chop the hole first or you can paint. Okay, and we're going to do the painting part and then chop afterwards. What you might find easier to do though is just draw yourself an outline of roughly where your target's going to go. So I'm going to draw mine just there. And I know then that I'm not going to have to do any painting on the inside there. So I've got a cup of water because I want to try and make that paint go as far as possible. I can use a little bit of blue, just like the first one that we're going to show. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And again, if you use the paint, that's brilliant, but you might find that paint slightly thick. So you might want to use some of this water here just to make sure it goes a little bit further. And you can see we're lucky enough to have our tough tray. If you've got some newspaper or even some paper to make sure you're keeping everything nice and tidy as well. So I know mums and dads will really appreciate that. So that's it. I'm just going to paint our box. Hopefully you'll notice, and it will come. It shouldn't paint very well over the sellotape. That's absolutely fine. We'll come on to some of the things you can do with that in just a second as well. You notice I'm not going to paint over the part where my target hole is going to be, because otherwise I'm just wasting paint as well. So I'm going to chop that out. Okay. So I'm just going to paint the front part for a minute just to show you. But you guys might want to paint the whole box. You might want to do some hashtag SuperCamps live across it. You might want to give it a name as well. Maybe you want to paint your name for your bean toss monster on there. So you notice because I've added a little bit of water as well. It's going a little bit further. Okay. trying to make sure there's no gaps for where you've got any of that paint. So I'm just going to paint around there. Go to the other side. There we go. And I have just painted over that sellotape as well, but you will find that it will be a little bit trickier for that paint to set on there as well. I want it to give it a couple of layers on there. So this might take you a little bit of time. So if you don't finish this now, don't worry. You can always come back to the video as well because they're going to be saved. And also once you've seen all the instructions, hopefully you'll know what to do after that as well. So we're just going to paint that front part. Amazing. There we go. Brilliant. Almost there. Okay. Let's get this bottom part here as well. Okay, so I haven't got any sleeves, but if you've got long sleeves, you might do well rolling them up as well, because otherwise you're going to find your nice new jumper gets lots of paint over it. Okay. Amazing. Right. Okay. So that's the basis for my show. Imagine I've painted the whole thing now. You can see where my gap's going to go for my bean bags, my rolled up sock, or any kind of material you've got that you can throw into there as well. What we're going to do now is we're going to create, give it a bit of personality, and we're going to pop some eyes on my creature. So this is some that I've drawn out already, but I'm just going to go through just how to make that too. I'm going to move this camera slightly closer just to make that a little bit clearer for you guys. Hopefully that will help. So this is one that I've drawn out previously just to show you, but we're going to go through that. If you draw the whole thing onto the paper and then you can cut it out afterwards, what you will find is you will need to let your paint set before you do any sticking on there as well. Otherwise it will not stick. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you a couple of ways that you can do that. So this is our example, so I'll leave that there so you can see it. So I've got my pen, your colouring pencils you can use as well. So when we're doing our eyes, just like this, we're trying to make sure that the tops of our eyes are the same height as well. So we're going to come round, and we're trying to make sure that our eyes are the same size at the top and the bottom. Okay, and that's the outline part for our eyes on here. You can do any design you want. You don't have to do it like that. You can make them into rectangles. You can do any kind of shape. It's entirely up to you and what you feel you would like to do to be nice and creative. I'm just going to do pupils for my creature now. Give that colour in. Amazing. I'm going to do the other side as well. Brilliant. There we go. I'm trying to get those looking roughly the same size. Now it's up to you. On our first design, we had some eyebrows. So I'm just going to put some eyebrows over the top. Go. It's up to you if you want to have those connected or not, but you will find that you're going to maybe possibly want to cut those out separately and stick those on. Okay, so I've got two designs exactly the same, but just to show you how to break those down. Okay. Obviously chopping those out. So I'm just going to start by cutting my ones out here. And again, I'm doing this nice and quickly, but you guys can take so much time over your design. You might find once you've created things like the eyes, you might want to stick some ears on the side. If you've got some other things like straws or any type of recycled materials in your house that you're looking to pop into the recycling bin, you might want to see if you can attach those onto it and make it a bit more 3D. Okay, so I'm going to chop the eyes out first. And obviously I won't be able to stick mine on because my paint is still drying. Okay, let's see if it just sticks on there with the paint as it dries. Amazing, there you go. And some eyebrows on there as well. Again, I'm being really careful. I've asked my adult if I can do this as well. So we're all okay. Amazing. Okay, just being nice and careful to make sure I'm being really careful with my cutting out as well. I'm not going too fast. It's one eyebrow. There we go. You can see mine won't stick on properly, but it'll give you guys the idea of that. Okay. Keep going around with my second eyebrow. Okay, all the way around. Second eyebrow done. You can see it gives it a bit more personality as well. Now it's coming alive. You can sit there and do some things like sticking some ears on the side. Maybe give it some, pop some teeth after we've cut out our hole for our target as well. So we've got the idea roughly on that. Now, when you have finished doing your painting and when it's set and dry, you're then going to try to cut out your target part. Okay. And again, you might have done this at the start, and that might be, and that's absolutely fine as well. Now, to cut something out that doesn't have any axis from the side, what I would advise doing is using a pencil to create a hole in the middle. Okay, now you notice I've got sellotape on mine, so I'm just going to go slightly to the side of my sellotape, and I'm going to try giving it a bit of a wiggle. So you notice I've popped a pencil in there, I'm just giving it a bit of a wiggle, just to give myself a point where I can then pop my scissors into that area there. Okay, and again, you want to make sure you're being nice and safe for these if you're walking around with your scissors, holding these down by your side and making a holding round the parts that you're going to be cutting. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut to the edge. And again, I'm going to get paint all over me now, starting with our messy clay. Okay, I'm going to cut to the edges. Now, it's up to you. The way I would try to do this is then cut to another edge up here. And you've given yourself, then that can come up. Yep, but I'm going to do that all the way around, because then when I cut round the outsides of that, it should make it really easy, and those triangles should fall out. And you can see I've got the sellotape there, which is holding these two sides together, but it should be fine because I've got my sellotape on the top and bottom as well. Okay, so we'll try and chop this in a way which you guys can all see. Come around this side. There you can see all I'm doing. It's a nice tricky angle. It's just making my triangles there, all the way around. You can already see it starting to come alive. Now, when I said about creating some teeth and everything like that, you might even find you want to be really creative with your design and leave some of these areas in to create a bit more of a personality to your bean toss creature. But again, that's entirely up to you. You will find that you'll give yourself a smaller target for your bean bags to go in. But if you're up for the challenge, then have a go at doing that. Okay. So I'm just going to come all the way around. Now you can see every time nice triangles, and I'm going to use those for my challenges later on in the week as well. So saving all of the bits and pieces you are using. You've already recycled by using a cardboard box to do this as well. Okay, you're already reusing those materials that you use, which is awesome. And I'm just being really careful with my scissors, guys. And remember, as you're doing this, guys, have a look. You might be able to see some other creations on the SuperCamps website. See how everyone else is doing and seeing their creations. So make sure you're all having a go putting up your design as well, because I'd be really interested to see. So you can see now I've got my entrance for my bean bags and or any type of material to go in. So I'm just going to move some of this out of the way. Now what we're going to do is try and play our game. Okay, so I'm just going to make a little bit of space. It's making sure things like paint that you're washing away. I'm just going to put mine on the floor out of the way just for the minute, just so we can demonstrate this part. Okay, so again, you will need to wait for your paint to dry. You can add all sorts of creations to yours. You can have some eyes. You can see here, you might make it into an animal as well. You might have a dog with a tongue sticking out. Any kind of creation that you want. Okay, so once I've made sure that nothing is left on the table that's going to get, you can see my hands are nice and messy now. Nothing on the table that's going to get nice and messy. I'm going to then have a go at playing my game. So if you've got some bean bags, amazing. I've just got 3 different colours there. Or some socks. My fluorescent socks is my first one, just to make sure that I'm being safe on the road. So I've got my fluorescent socks, my donut ones as well. So again, you can come up with a challenge. First thing I would do is just try to give yourself a go at having a practice with it. So I'm just going to move the camera back. So then hopefully it gives a better angle for doing this, which is awesome. So again, give yourself a little bit of a practice of doing this. When you're doing it, you might find it easy. If you want to go for straight into the hole, that's amazing. If not, go for it at the top and you'll find that it just rolls down and it might roll into the hole. So I'm going to have a go at that. I'm going to make sure my arm finishes where I'm trying to throw my beanbag. If my arm finishes up here, my beanbag or my socks are going to go straight into the roof, which you don't want, okay? So I'm going to throw it and I'm going to leave my arm where I want it to land. So here we go. Straight in. So that's my first point. So I'm going to get that. I'm just going to move this a little bit further over there so you guys can all see. There we go. So I'm going to go for it again. Amazing. That's another point. And another point. So you can see it. It's nice and easy to get it back because all I do is pop my hand into his mouth and I get my beanbags back. Okay. Now, if you've done this at home, you've got a brother, sister, mum, dad, and they've had a go at making one as well, you can have a bit of a competition. You can see if you have one, I've got one here. So it might be that me and Amy have a go at challenging each other with this. And I have mine over here, and I can stand behind mine and try and throw it into my partner's monster, and I get a point for every time it goes into their beanbag monster as well. Okay. Other ones you can do as well is challenge yourself. So if you've had the opportunity to make one on your own, which is amazing, see if you can challenge yourself. See if you can go, I'm going to start here. So I'm going to throw it in. I've hit top. You notice it rolls down. Brilliant. I'm going to have another go. I've got one in. I'm going to move it further back. And now I'm going to have a go. Oh, I missed that time. So I'm going to try again at this one here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, yes. So I can move it a little bit further back this time. Okay, and maybe I might take a step back as well. And again, I'm going to go for it. Oh, I missed. So maybe that was too far for me. So I'm going to bring it a little bit further forward. Okay, so you get the idea with that. So lots of different activities you can play. You can also see how many times you can get it in a row as well. Okay, you notice I got one then. I might have got two. So I'm going to see if I can do it. One. Okay, first one, we've got it. Okay, let's go for another one. Come on. Two, come on, almost there. Final one, my final sock. Three, notice it came off the top there and rolled in, so I can do that. Let's go for one more, got my beanbag this time. Four, can I do it? I've got two more beanbags left. Here we go. Five, amazing, here we go. Here we go. I missed. So now my next target is to see if I can beat 5 next time. And again, if you've got lots of socks that you can roll up, you can have a go at throwing all your socks into the monster's mouth. Now, hopefully you have all enjoyed our bean toss activity. Tomorrow morning is Amy delivering the lollipop stick aquarium activity, which is lots of fun. Okay, and then it'll be myself at 2:30 in the afternoon as well. If you've got any pictures or want to show any of your creations, pop them on to, pass them along to the official SuperCamps page or hashtag SuperCamps Live, and we'll get to see all of those. It'll be a really great opportunity for me and Amy to see all of your creations that you've been working on today, and hopefully you've had a lot of fun. And again, you can keep watching this video back if you've missed anything or you want to go back through any of your instructions, but hopefully you'll get to see we'll see some awesome creations. Okay, well done guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.